On January 20th, 2021, almost 3 years ago, our family made Aliyah to Israel. While everyone was heading to all over the world for vacation, our family was heading for winter break to make a change and live in the land of Israel. We left 3 days before they closed Ben Gurion for 6 weeks. We decided we no longer wanted to wait on the sidelines and watch the Jewish future from afar. We wanted to be a part of the next chapter of Jewish history and its future. Many of you may wonder why we all get choked up when we see that vote. Happened over 75 years ago. You want to know why? Because it changed Jewish history forever, and it changed our future forever. You see, every day you live in Israel, you never know what will happen. Every day that comes, you never know what historic moment you may experience. You never know when you may meet the Prime Minister of Israel. Now I no longer get choked up or have regrets and ask the question or have any questions. How can I have missed a special moment there? Now my family will not miss witnessing life-changing moments. In the past 3 years, we were able to experience so many inspiring moments as a family living in Israel. What was it like for our people, our nation, to deal with their first pandemic ever and become a world leader in it? 2, meet the Prime Minister of Israel only a few months after we made Aliyah, Bibi Netanyahu. Have a Prime Minister live 2 blocks away from our house, Naftali Bennett, and be able to say, Chag Sameach for Rosh Hashanah, as the drones and the Uzis are all on top of us walking home from synagogue. Experiencing the Jewish holiday life cycle in Israel. Experiencing Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom HaAtzmaut, all in 1 week. The sirens, the emotions, the roller coaster of emotions. Having rockets fired towards our house and learn what it was like to live in a bomb shelter being low on grandma's cheese. Our son joining the army and watching his swearing-in ceremony. The most powerful part of the ceremony was getting a gun in one hand and a Tanakh in the other hand. How about that for the modern Maccabee? Voting twice in elections. Watching our kids learn how to speak Hebrew and make friends with Jews from all over the world. Witnessing Kibbutz Galiyot, Ranana, yes, has people who are living there from almost 8 or 9 different countries. Being a part of building the first ever Syrian shul in Israel from North American Jews coming from the Brooklyn Syrian community. Starting to build a community hub, a soft landing so the community doesn't feel alone if they make the jump to move to Israel. And finally, hearing only a few weeks ago, on our son's birthday, as we were very anxious, he was serving on the Jenin and Nablus border during a major operation, leading the arrest of 5 terrorists on their way to attack Jews in central Israel. And not only that, conducting the arrest in Arabic. He taught himself Arabic the entire year and hired a tutor. You see, every moment you step foot on the soil of the land of Israel, something meaningful happens. You never know what will happen. And you certainly never know when the next post of Dweck's Aliyah Adventures, what it may bring. It has been a roller coaster of highs and lows, but there's no other place in the world I would rather be. So here's the real question. Is this life possible for the Syrian Jewish community? Can the community be part of the Jewish history and its future? Is there a future for the community in the state of Israel? The answer is a resounding yes. We've already started. we started this wonderful organization 9 months ago, SY Israel Lech Lecha. Many of you may laugh and say, this guy is crazy. I've heard that a lot in my life. But when Theodore Herzl said the famous words at the first Zionist Congress in 1897, he said, perhaps in 5 to 10 years, or even in 50 years, we will have a state of the Jewish people. And in 1947, you just saw, almost exactly 50 years later, the state of Israel was declared. And only 6 months later, 1948, the Jews, there were 600,000 Jews in Israel at the time. How biblical is that number? And now there are over 7.2 million Jews living in the land of Israel. I always marvel that in the same decade, the worst atrocity of the Jewish people happened at the same time the biggest miracle happened for the Jewish people. I believe this community, over the next 15, 20 years, will move in masses with their families. And they will help build the future state of Israel. As a community, we have built so many institutions and organizations. We have amassed much wealth, and we have built a networking system unmatched in the Jewish world. We are a community of builders. We know what it takes to create a network to help one another. We can make all the skills, we can take all the skills that God gifted to us and bring it to the only home country of the Jewish people. I believe our detour here in America was to prepare us to learn from Jewish history and use all the assets and skills God gave us and build the future of the Syrian Jewish community in Israel. And I believe on May 14th, 2048, the 100-year anniversary of Israel, the Israeli newspapers will read the following headlines. Turn on the screen. What does it say here? The Syrian community of Brooklyn and Deal in Manhattan, who recently immigrated to Israel in the past decade, has opened up its 10th synagogue in Israel. The Syrian community has started its own political party led by, don't know who that is yet. The Syrian community celebrates their first Sephardic chief rabbi in Israel. The Syrian community has opened up its third yeshiva day school in Israel according to the traditions of their over 2,000-year heritage. The Syrian community has built its 10th neighborhood in Israel. The Syrian community has opened a few more nonprofit organizations to help community members deal with helping the poor and unfortunate, career development, social work clinics, etc., etc. And finally, the last Syrian, Egyptian, Lebanese Jew left America to settle and live in the land of Israel. Today, we will present to you our newly formed SY Israel Committee and what we do. They are all pioneers. They all went before you guys just to prepare the way. I hope you enjoy our presentation. We will present 4 committees: our social media and marketing committee, our business and finance committee, our college university program, and our hospitality mentoring program. And without further ado, we'll start with Moe Sutton, who's the man behind. You ready? And then we'll take questions at the end. Each presentation will be 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll take questions.
Thank you, David. I don't know, it was the social media and marketing, so I hope that my salary of nothing will reflect a change in that extra responsibility. But yeah, I just want to start with saying this, really just connecting to what Hamaluf said earlier. We don't have a goal to convince anyone they should live in Israel. Our goal is just to convince anyone who wants to that they can. It is possible. We read in this past week's parasha about Hatam Ragelim, which of course is connected to Tisha B'Av, as Chamaluf mentioned. Ahenu hemasu et lebabenu. Am Yisrael said, our brothers who were the spies, they melted our hearts. So we're here to do the opposite of melting hearts, whatever that is. Solidifying, I don't know, giving strength, courage. So to that effect, we're looking to put a lot of content about Israel, about our community, community members sharing their stories. So we'll have interviews. The video that we just saw is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot of interview footage, everyone that you saw, plus more people in the video sharing their stories, talking about what it was like, talking about different aspects of life in Israel. So those are the interviews which we'll have on our Instagram account, which you can already follow us at SY Israel Home. We're also on YouTube. The video that you saw today will be on both of those platforms, hopefully by the end of the day. And just inspiration. So when you're scrolling on Instagram, you have some Israel stuff there too. Inspiration from our community, Hebrew words and phrases, which those of you know me is one of my favorite things. Special places all over Israel. We're going to have plenty of people sharing, talking about different places in Israel, insider's perspective, Divrei Torah, trivia, and more. So you can go to the next slide. And if you're not a social media person, you don't feel like going on Instagram, don't do it just for us, or on YouTube. If you're interested in Aliyah, hearing more about how we can help you, just connecting with community members in Israel, just email us, syisraelhome@gmail.com, and we'd be glad to talk to you about it. Stephanie, you're up.
And our goal is to assign mentors to the families and individuals that are moving to Israel. We provide them with guidance and support for whatever they need. That's our committee, that's our team. Okay. Basically, when a family or individual wants to make Aliyah, they'll reach out to us either on Instagram or they'll email us, let us know that they're thinking about it and that they need help. Our team... Okay. Our team will meet to discuss who we think will best mentor that family, mostly based on geography, from the same city where they live, where they're moving to. We create an ongoing chat with that person to help them with anything that they need from America until they get to Israel, and then we stay with them even while they're living there. We put them in touch with professionals on the ground to help them with whatever they need, any of their million questions that they'll have about what to pack from America and what to bring on your container. And we check in all the time, and we're there when you get there for whatever it is that you'll need. Some of the professionals that we'll have on the ground are plumbers and movers and realtors when you're ready to rent and buy, and how to help your kids register for school. We'll be there to accept your container if need be. We'll get you groceries and hook you up with the right doctors and help you with everything like that. The Hospitality Committee will continue to explore new ways to make it easier for all of you. We all did this already, we all went through it, and we want to help make it just a little bit easier for you than it was for us, as organized and stress-free of a move as possible. And through our efforts and Hakadosh Baruch Hu, we have already successfully welcomed many families into Israel. You can scan this if you want to read the presentation to see what else we can help with, and we're here, whatever you need.
Bonnie's heading our college university committee with Dina Greenstein and a few other, Aliyah Chalem, and Ben Novick, actually.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bonnie Shams, and I made Aliyah, I would say it's about a year and a half ago with my husband. My daughter made Aliyah a few years before us, and we have a son who's currently we have a son and a daughter in university. So I took it upon myself to join the university committee. We want you to know that there is an option of Israel for college. We're not talking about the gap year program. We're talking about colleges and universities for full degree programs that are available to your kids, not to come live there forever yet. However, they are an option where your kids can really feel at home. So I want to speak to you about educational opportunities offered by universities in Israel that have English programs and degrees. Okay. These universities have recognized the importance of providing educational options in English to attract talented individuals from various corners of the world. One of the key reasons why students come from around the globe to Israel's universities is the exceptional quality of education. Many of the universities in Israel are internationally ranked and recognized for their cutting-edge research, outstanding faculty, and state-of-the-art facilities. By offering degrees in English, they've opened their doors to a truly global community of learners and foster an environment of diversity and cultural exchange. A few of the universities that we have information on are Bar Ilan University, Tel Aviv University, and IDC, the interdisciplinary, which is called Reichman University currently. These are American programs with English degrees. The range of subjects and disciplines available in English is also another enticing aspect. There's engineering, computer science, social sciences, humanities, business. Students have access to a broad spectrum of fields to pursue their passions and career goals. This diversity allows us for cross-disciplinary collaborations, enabling students to think critically and tackle real-world challenges. Especially in Reichman University, there are American programs for business and entrepreneurship, and I know that there are at least 7 Syrian students from the community that are there currently, including my son. Moreover, studying in Israel means immersing oneself in a country that cherishes innovation and entrepreneurship. With a thriving startup culture, Israeli universities encourage students to think outside the box, encouraging them to bring their ideas to life and make a tangible impact on society. And in this community, that means a lot. The entrepreneurial spirit instilled in students empowers them to become leaders and change makers in their respective fields. So we are here to help your students, help your kids pick a college that may be something that they're looking forward to. Engineering, there's the Technion, there's Bar Ilan. A lot of the members of our community have been in college there. And I know that I went to Tel Aviv University many, many eons ago. They do have gap year programs, and currently Tel Aviv has a program with Columbia University. So there are lots of opportunities, and I'm not going to speak anymore, but if anyone in it is interested, you can scan the code and look it up, and we are always available to give you information on the dorms, on the prices. That's also a very big positive factor of what comes along with a great education. Thank you very much.
And finally, our last committee, which I think is the big committee that everybody wants to know more about, to discuss cost of living in Israel, as well as how to make a living in Israel as well. I'm going to give your attention to Matthew and Moshe.
All right, so we're going to cram into about 5 minutes what Nefesh take 3 hours. This is extremely important, probably more so than anything else, because once you get to Israel, you got to be able to live and survive in Israel. So let's start this presentation. All right, these are some examples of cities that members from the Brooklyn, New Jersey, Miami, SY community have moved to and are living very happily. Some of these communities are growing faster than others, but hopefully these will be some of the locations that members will be landing. Next. Okay, very important. Number one, you got to have a plan. Okay, you got to do your hishtalut. Right? It's not only up to Hashem, you got to put some effort into it also. Okay? Number two, you have to understand your cost of living. How are you going to finance that cost of living? All right? Number 3, how are you going to support yourself? We're up to 4, right? Okay, this is a big one. When you move to Israel, and when you're planning this, no expectations. Because if your expectations are on the floor, everything that happens is amazing and a miracle. So have no dreams, no expectations, and everything will be awesome. And the last thing, and actually this is even more important, so I lied before. You got to go to a place where you have a support system. If that support system does not exist, you will not exist. Okay? You need to move to a city. I have a dream of living in Yerushalayim. Guess what? If you don't know people there and you're doing it solo, forget about it. Maybe you'll get there. But if you want to last in Israel, you got to be in a place where there's people that are like-minded, people that you could become friends with, or that you already are friends with, and they'll carry you through. Okay? So by following these simple guidelines, and you also need Dat Torah. Always consult your rabbi for everything. Next. Okay. We're going to go into some of the costs. This is a median range. Okay? It could go all the way over here, and it could go all the way over there. You know, if you want to live on a tent in the beach, it's fine. Singles. We're going to give some examples of cost of living. For singles, couples, families. Okay, we divided this into 2 cost of living centers. Number 2 and a number 3. Number 1 is Tel Aviv, most expensive. Okay, but these are most of the places where people are going to end up landing if they're couples, if they're married, even students. So Yerushalayim, Herzliya, Ranana falls into this category. Singles, we made assumptions. We're going to give you access to this incredible cost of living calculator that will help you as you're developing your budgets. But you could expect that your cost of living in this number 2, HL area is going to be about $4,100, okay, per month. That's dollars. We're doing this, making this easy for everybody, okay? Okay. Next one is the number 3, okay? We're not there yet. The singles don't care about tuition, okay? We'll get. Okay, so if you're in a number 3 area, which is like Modi'in, Beit Shemesh, Gvat Shimon, Netanya, Rehovot, etc., it's a little bit cheaper, not so much. Next. Okay, couples. This is married. You don't have kids yet. Maybe you're pregnant. Maybe you're expecting one. Maybe it's a couple years out, whatever. Okay, in number 2, you're looking at about $6,100. Now, this is medium, and these are apartments, right? So singles, you're in the studio, 1 bedroom. Couples, you have a 2-bedroom apartment, we're assuming. Okay, this is with 1 car, right? So this is what you could expect in this area. Next. All right, if you're going to a little bit of a cheaper area, it's a little cheaper, about $5,700, medium. Families. Families is the most expensive in Israel. There's a lot of savings in Israel. There's a tuition savings. There's a tuition savings. Health insurance savings. There's some other savings. Some things are more expensive, like gas and cars. All right, but you could expect, and this is pretty realistic. If you want to maintain your standard of living that you have here, or pretty much that you have here in Brooklyn and Deal, you're looking at about $11,000, $12,000 a month. Okay, and this is for figure a 5-6 bedroom apartment. You want a house in these areas? Tack on another $1,000 or $2,000. All right, but it's still cheaper than Brooklyn. Sal Klita. Okay, Sal Klita is money that they give you for moving. Yes, they flus you to move to Israel, and it's wonderful, and it pretty much pays for almost the entire move. So at the end, you're going to see the QR code. You got to click on, this is the most important one. If you're going to click on any presentation for the QR code, it's this one. Okay, because this one will give you the links so that you can run your own analysis. All right, but we're trying to give, like I said, this is 3 hours crammed into 10 minutes now. Okay, next. Modi'in, a little cheaper. No, what was the more expensive one? That's the cheaper one. 11, okay, fine, 11 one, a little bit of savings. Okay, let's go into, okay, let's go. All right, jobs. All right, there's 3 categories of people and careers. Number 1 is you're a professional. Number 2 is you work for a community company. Number 3 is you're a business owner. Okay, professionals. All these jobs here, all these categories, there are ways for you to have your license transferred or to expedite some sort of ability in order to practice what you do. Specifically what it is, we will help you research that. Off the top of my head, can't tell you. But these are some examples. Next slide. Okay, job market. Israel is big in high tech. If you're in high tech, if you're young, you're going into college, or you're out of college and you want to move to Israel, high tech, high tech, high tech. All right? It's where the best paying jobs are. Startups, R&D is big. Finance and banking, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay? I'm just talking from personal experience. All right? It's tough. It's very big. It's great there if you're in, it's tough. Finance is tough in Israel. In the banking world there, it's tough. It's very, very different. VCs, though, they're still hot as long as their funding sticks. Next. Okay, teaching. There's a huge need for teachers in Israel. Okay, if you want to teach, come. Medical is big. The private medical practices are huge. Real estate, there's a joke. It's not true. If you want to make $1 million in Israel in real estate, you come with $1 billion. So it's not true. You can make money. Okay, very important. In some of these sectors, Hebrew is important. If you cannot get fluent in Hebrew, you don't have a certain level, you're not going into that industry there until you learn it. All right? It's something to keep in mind. Like I said, Aliyah is not for everybody, okay? But if you want it, you can get it. It will be for everybody because eventually we'll have to. Next. Okay. Your own business in Israel. Now this is very relevant for people in our community. You have your own business, do not think you need to sell it. Do not sell it. There is ways for you to work and run your business. A lot of us are doing it. I started my own business while I was there. David's running his business off season over there. There's a lot of us that have businesses that are based here in the States and we're living there. And truthfully, that's the ideal way to live in Israel, is to earn your money from the States and maintain your business here and to live there in Israel. And you travel back and forth as you need to. It's not a major deal. Okay? And there's a lot of tax benefits for the first 10 years of Aliyah, if that's what you choose to do. You get all passive income is tax-free in Israel. You don't have to pay city or state taxes. There's a lot of benefits there. Yeah, with COVID, one of the berachot that came out of COVID is the fact that people are able to work remotely and are okay with that and able to function. Okay? Israel, getting employees in Israel is great. If you could tap some of that cheaper, beautiful-minded thinking talent in Israel, you could do that. And you'll be on the ground in Israel also to be able to manage that talent as well. Next. Okay. This is a big one for me because this is where I think the community can really, really benefit. So I have this dream, and it's going to be this committee's dream, to set up a careers portal for community members that own businesses. Israel's not for them right now. They want to stay here, but they want to help be supportive. There's so much talent in this community that business owners aren't tapping out of fear and out of cost. Because to hire community people, it's more expensive. But the quality of work and the quality of intellect of community people far surpasses anybody that you hire off the street. Okay? With COVID showed us with most of the jobs that are needed in the community businesses can be handled remotely or with flying in not so frequently. Number one, the cost of living in Israel is overall cheaper. A lot of it has to do, like I said, with the tuition, but it is cheaper. Number two, you're going to be helping a lot of families here. A lot of younger people are freaking out about how they're going to support their families in the future because of these costs. If you employ or send an employee that is willing or wants to go to Israel and work for you, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're giving a community member a future. You're helping him make Aliyah, and you're going to benefit from it. Okay? You don't need to set up a business in Israel to hire community guys and have them live in Israel. There's PEOs, professional employee organizations, etc., that exist that they will be the employee on record, or they set up their own businesses and you hire them as a contractor. Okay? This is one of the solutions. There are many solutions people are working on for the tuition crisis. This is one of them. And is it for everybody? No, it's not for everybody. But for those that it's good for, they should take advantage of it. All right? Number one, the time difference is great. Because when you're waking up, the work's already done, if you want it that way. But for quality of life, for those that move to Israel and are working Eastern Standard Time, you picked up an entire day. You've lived an entire day. You've gone to the cafe with your wife. You've gone to the beach. You've walked the streets of Jerusalem. And now you're getting your workday started. It's great therapy. Okay. I think I've said how important this aspect is. All right. These are all resources. You're going to have to scan the QR code if you want access to these resources, but they are great resources. Okay, Nefesh B'Nefesh is very important with the Aliyah process. We can't do it unless you want to pump millions of dollars into our organization, which we'll gladly take. The cost calculator. Okay, this thing, I found this thing with Moshe over here. I've never seen something like this in my life. We literally spent weeks and weeks trying to recreate what this blue and white finance company did. They've been spending a year on it. This thing, it has everything down to the detail of what you call it. I wish this thing existed when I was looking to make Aliyah. So that's very important. And then we have some other resources for you, just see, cost of apartments, cost of living houses, or they call them villas, etc. Blue and White Finance, they did the cost calculator. A big shout out to them. They've been working hard on it. But use these. QR code. QR code. Scan this. It's very important. I want to see phones out. No, I'm serious. This is very important. Or email us, but this is a lot easier and faster. So if you have any questions about with your research, any questions in trying to figure out how to make this work for you, we're here. We'll help you. We have professionals available. I'm going to give the mic over to David.
Thank you, guys. I want to thank Bonnie, Stephanie, Elise, Matthew, Moshe, Moe, the rest of the committee. We have 15 other people on the committee, which you'll see on our Instagram page, that currently live in Israel, don't come back for the summer. And we're really building a place, a support system, so that no one's alone here. I want to open up the floor for any questions. We have like 7 minutes. Any questions about any part of the Aliyah process? Charles, about Mashiach. Yeah, go. Pre-tax or post-tax, the numbers that he's talking about? The government tax, Israeli tax. Gross or net? That's net. Okay. There are multiple neighborhoods. There isn't only Renana. I know you may hear that from me sometimes, but we have Modi'in, we have Yerushalayim, Efrat. There are community hubs where you have community members. Yes, Uncle Morris. No, we don't. There's people who live in Yerushalayim, but there's no like neighborhood per se. People are, within minutes of each other, or 10, 15 minutes bus ride. Not in Yerushalayim, but in Renana, yes, if you didn't hear about it yet. What other questions? Cost of living, why you made Aliyah, anything, you can ask anything. Right there. It's a little bit better than living on Kings Highway. No. We have about 13 to 15 families. We have a few new families coming this summer. And yes, some of you may have heard the news already. Yes, Katie and Joey Harari are moving to Renana from Yerushalayim. So now if you come to Jerusalem, and there are a few people you can eat by. There are people that are there, but you can't go to Katie and Joey. You got to come to us. And so, also we hired Ezra Barry, as the Chazan of our new shul, so we're going to get all the Barrys and the Noviks and all of that as well. So the community is basically about 13 to 15 families. We just built a shul 9 months ago. And we all live in homes really near each other, very similar to the Brooklyn setup. And, now we're pushing apartments and for people to like just buy in and near the area of Renana. There's a community developing, but it's really people who didn't move yet in Netanya, in the building that everybody bought in. We don't know if they're coming to just visit or to live there. We'll give them a few years until the building is finished. But in essence, anything that you need, that community is there to help. The New Orleans that just moved in the last year, we've helped them with everything from emotional support to deal with leaving family to the groceries to the electrician, whatever it is. They're not alone, and we set up a WhatsApp chat for that. Back there. Is that Linda? Oh, Linda. Can I bring the mic? Okay. Okay, wait, I didn't plant that question. We're in the process, that's one of my next projects with some of the people on the committee, is to build, it. Again, I'm gonna make this clear, where it's important to be a tribe like we are here in Brooklyn, Deal, and wherever. When we're in Israel, there's going to be no like only this. Praying with our nusach, our tradition, yes. But we're working on building a school that fits the values very similar to like a Barkai concept in Renan. It's going to take a few years. We've started a few of the conversations, but it's in its very early stages. We want to build it where, see, when you go to school in Israel, everybody they call it Nusach Yerushalmi, which is just a way of saying whenever they decide that they're going to pray. I want to build a school that allows for each group that comes in the morning, at 8 o'clock in the morning, where they can pray according to their Nusach. If it's Ashkenaz, if it's Sepharad, if it's Yedut Mizrach, if it's Chalabi, whatever it might be. So we're building, we're working on that concept. So it is something that's in the works. Yeah.
All right, education, school is very important, okay? I went through this, all right? When you first land in Israel, you got kids, there's not a lot of choices for the schools because they need to learn the culture and the language. So you deal with it. They don't learn much for the first year, okay? But they pick up the language. Once they pick up the language, I'm personally learning there are, in Israel, amazing schools, and there are schools that fit the priorities of this community, okay? Now, we need more people to come in order for us to sustain more the schools that we're used to, okay? But there are ones that are similar that do exist. It's a matter of your children, how quickly they could pick up the Hebrew language and integrate into the Israeli culture, okay? So everything has a label in Israel. The labels don't mean anything because you could have something labeled X and it's really Y, Z, and A, all right? But the school systems in Israel, they're different, but they're good. And the schools that you are looking for do exist until we get ours up and running.
Yes, but there are schools our girls have had very good experiences so far, but it does take a few years. Yes. I got to wrap up, right, Bobby? Okay, that's the... We're going to deal about the judicial reform next year, once I find out how it all works out and develops. I don't want to answer that because there's a lot of traffic. We just don't go out Thursday night to Tel Aviv. They're making us go towards Netanya instead. That's what we started to do during the protests. But very important issue, right now that's not affecting the community because most of us haven't moved there yet. Any other questions? We're around. Check on Instagram. Any questions at any point in time, you know where to find all of us. I want to thank SEA for allowing us to present. And hopefully, 25 years from now, we'll be doing the SEA program in Israel. Thank you.